The receipt lay on the table like a quiet accusation. Tip, $0.00. No scribble. No smiley face. Just a clean, deliberate 0. For a moment, the diner felt louder than it ever had, even though no one was speaking, and beneath the plate, something waited, something no one noticed yet. Before we begin, take a second to like this video if stories of quiet kindness matter to you. It helps more than you know. Her name was Claire Morgan, and she had learned to read receipts the way some people read faces. Quick glance. Small breath. Move on. Claire was 32, a single mother to a 7-year-old boy named Evan, and a waitress at Redwood Diner, a narrow, sun-faded place just off the highway where truckers, locals, and the occasional traveler crossed paths for coffee and eggs. Her uniform was always clean, though the edges were worn soft from years of washing. She tied her hair back the same way every morning, not for style, but because routines were the only things that stayed put in her life. That afternoon, the man had stood out the moment he walked in. He wore a simple navy jacket. No logos. No flash. But there was something about the way people moved aside for him without knowing why. Calm. Controlled. Like the room adjusted around his presence. Claire didn't know he was a billionaire. She just knew he looked tired. Claire's days began before sunrise. She packed Evan's lunch while the coffee brewed. Counted bills at the kitchen table. Rent circled in red. Electric bill folded twice. School field trip flyer pinned to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a star. Every dollar had a purpose. Every tip had a destination. At work, she moved fast but never rushed people. She remembered orders. Refilled cups before they were empty. Listened when customers talked, not because she had to, but because listening was free, and sometimes it was all people wanted. That day, her feet ached more than usual. Evan had a cough the night before, and sleep came in pieces. Still, she smiled. Still, she showed up. When she brought the man his coffee, he looked up and said, "Thank you," in a voice that sounded like it carried weight. She nodded. "I'll be right back." He stayed longer than most, ordered soup. Then a sandwich. Then just sat there, staring out the window like he was waiting for something that wasn't coming. Claire checked on him the right amount. Not too much. Not too little. When he finally stood to leave, he nodded once. Polite. Distant. Claire cleared the table automatically. That's when she saw the receipt. $0.00. No mistake. No forgotten line. A deliberate 0. Her chest tightened. Not in anger, but in that familiar, sinking way. The kind that reminded her how close the margins were. She swallowed it down. Wiped the table. Picked up the plate. "Everything okay?" asked Martha, the older waitress who'd been there 20 years. Claire forced a small smile. "Yeah. Just one of those." She didn't chase him. Didn't roll her eyes. Didn't say a word. She just kept working. Later that evening, during the quiet lull between dinner and night shift, Claire began resetting the tables. When she reached the one by the window, she noticed the plate felt heavier than it should. She lifted it. Underneath, taped neatly to the underside, was an envelope. No name on the front, just a single word, written carefully. "For you." Her hands paused. The diner clock ticked loudly. She glanced around, half expecting someone to be watching. No one was. She slid the envelope into her apron pocket, heart beating faster than it had all day. Claire didn't open it until she got home. Evan was asleep on the couch, cartoon credits rolling silently. She tucked a blanket around him before sitting at the table under the yellow kitchen light. Inside the envelope was not cash. It was a handwritten letter. "Claire, you served me with patience today when I didn't deserve it. I left the tip where it couldn't be counted too quickly, because some things are meant to be found only by those who pay attention." Folded beneath the letter was a check. Claire's breath caught. The number was more than she made in 6 months. At the bottom was a name she recognized. From the news. From headlines she never thought would touch her life. Her hands trembled, but the letter wasn't finished. "This is not charity. It's an investment in someone who still shows up with dignity. If you choose to accept it, use it to change something, not everything, and promise me you'll do the same for someone else when you can." She sat there for a long time, not crying, just breathing. Claire didn't quit her job the next day. She didn't buy anything flashy. Didn't tell anyone. She paid the overdue bills. Fixed the leak under the sink. Took Evan to the dentist. Then she did something she'd been quietly dreaming about for years. She enrolled in night classes for certified nursing assistant training. It was exhausting. Work during the day. Classes at night. Studying while Evan slept beside her with crayons still clutched in his hand. There were weeks she wanted to stop. Times she reread the letter just to remind herself why she started. Months passed. Claire graduated. Got hired at a local care center. The pay was steady. The hours kindered. On her last day at Redwood Diner, Martha hugged her hard. You earned this, she said. Claire smiled. I'm still earning it. She kept the letter in her wallet, folded. Softened. A year later, Claire returned to the diner, not as a waitress, but as a customer. She ordered coffee. Sat by the window. When the young server brought her the check, Claire paid quietly, and beneath the plate, she taped an envelope. Inside was a note. You matter more than you know. Don't let one number decide your worth. The tip wasn't extravagant, but it was enough. As she stood to leave, Claire glanced once more at the table. She smiled, not because of what she'd given, but because of what she'd become. The receipt no longer felt like an accusation. It felt like proof. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone who might need a reminder today. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, and in just one word, how this story made you feel. Sometimes, the smallest moments change everything.